A child's laughter echoed through the ancient trees of Whisperwood, each bark and leaf drinking deep the sound and whispering it further into the woods. The boy, no older than 7 summers, chased after butterflies whose wings shone like stained glass against the sapphire sky. His bare feet barely made a sound on the moss carpet, his eyes wide with wonder as he followed them deeper into the green embrace. Behind him, the world of men seemed a distant memory, forgotten as quickly as the morning mist. Here in the wood, time had its own pace, slower, gentler, more in tune with the rustling of leaves and the murmur of the stream. Here, the boy was free to be whoever or whatever he wished. Today he was a warrior, his stick a trusty sword. He brandished it high, vowing to slay the fearsome beast that lurked behind every twisting tree root or overripe berry bush. His name was Finn, though most in his village didn't recall ever knowing a soul so young. And it wasn't just the villagers. Even his own family seemed to have trouble remembering him. His mother, a woman with eyes the color of the summer sky and hair like woven moonlight, would gaze at him sometimes with a faraway look. His father a strong oak of a man with hands that could fell a tree and a heart that could break. One would ruffle Finn's hair and tell stories of a time before. Finn of deeds done and battles fought. But Finn couldn't understand why these memories left his parents' faces lined with weariness. To him, their eyes should have been bright with the thrill of the hunt, their steps light with the joy of battle. Why were they so tired? He sought answers from the whispering trees, but they only spoke of Finn, of how new and vibrant he was, how much life still quivered in his young limbs. So Finn turned back to his games, to slaying dragons and battling trolls, finding comfort in make-believe until the shadows grew long and the forest hushed. For even in this enchanted wood, there were dangers. As twilight bled into night, creatures stirred who preferred the dark. The owl hooted, the wolf howled, and the boy's laughter faded into the gathering gloom. Then he heard it, a sound that froze the blood in his veins, the rustle of dry leaves and the snap of a twig. Something was coming, something large and heavy, moving swiftly towards him. Fear pricked at his skin, cold and sharp like a winter wind. His breath caught in his throat, his heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird. All the bravado of the warrior-slashing, heroic Finn evaporated, leaving behind a small, scared boy clutching his wooden sword. From behind a tree, he watched as the underbrush shifted and a pair of glowing eyes emerged. Slowly, deliberately, they came closer, unblinking. A low growl rumbled in the creature's chest, vibrating the ground beneath Finn's feet. He wanted to scream, to run, but terror rooted him to the spot, his eyes locked on those burning orbs that now regarded him with an unnerving intensity. His fingers tightened around the sword, his knuckles whitening. What was this beast? Why had it come for him? Was it here to end his life, to snuff out his existence as easily as a candle flame? He didn't know. He couldn't know. He was only 7. The creature came to a halt a few paces away. It stepped into the moonlight, revealing a form that seemed both alien and familiar. Its muzzle was like that of a dog, but elongated, too long. Its fur, a matted mess, hung in greasy strands over its lean frame. Its ears were pointed, tipped with black leather, and its eyes burned with an eerie, unnatural light. It snarled again, a low, guttural sound that echoed in the stillness of the woods. Its tail lashed back and forth, a metronome marking time on the grave silence of the night. Then it did something that broke the spell it had woven around the boy. It sneezed. Not a violent explosion of irritation, but a soft puff that barely disturbed the air between them. And in that moment, something inside Finn snapped. He burst into tears, dropping his sword with a clatter. All the terror, all the fear, all the suffocating dread that had been crushing him lifted like mist before the rising sun, leaving behind a raw, aching vulnerability. He crumpled to his knees, burying his face in his arms. As the last vestiges of his bravado ebbed away, all that remained was a terrified child exposed and alone in the unforgiving darkness of the woods. The creature took a step forward, then another, its eyes never leaving the boy. It stopped a few inches away, sniffing the air, its hot breath ghosting over Finn's upturned neck. He didn't move, didn't dare breathe. What would happen next? Would the monster pounce, ending it all with a swift, brutal movement? Or would it do something worse, something that violated the innocence of his childhood? But instead of violence, there was a whine, soft and plaintive, and then a touch. The creature nudged him with its wet nose, its eyes unreadable in the gloom. Startled, Finn flinched, but the touch didn't hurt. It was tentative, almost shy. And as the minutes ticked by, the creature stayed, its presence a solid thing in the darkness. It didn't growl or bare its teeth or snarl. It simply sat there, patiently, as if waiting for something. And slowly, very slowly, Finn began to calm down. His sobs subsided into sniffles. His terror receded into the background, muted and indistinct. He remained curled on the forest floor, but the rigid lines of his body relaxed. His shoulders slumped, his fingers uncurled. The forest was silent except for the distant hoot of an owl. The moon, a silver sickle in the velvet sky, cast long, distorted shadows around them. And the creature, well, it stayed, a comforting presence in the vast emptiness of the woods. As the first faint streaks of dawn touched the horizon, Finn looked up. The creature was gone. The forest was silent, empty. And there, lying on the moss, was a single white feather, shimmering faintly in the pale light. Had it really happened? Was the creature just a figment of his imagination, a byproduct of his overactive fancy? He picked up the feather, turning it over in his hands. It was real enough, smooth, yet not quite perfect. A little bit different, but real. With the first light of dawn came a rush of adrenaline, and Finn scrambled to his feet, his heart hammering against his ribs. What if the monster came back? What if it decided to make him its prey? Panic threatened to overwhelm him, but he shook it off. He wouldn't run. He would stay and face whatever came. He tucked the feather into his tunic, hiding it under his shirt. He didn't want anyone to know about it. It was his secret, his only memento of the night's encounter. As he emerged from the trees, blinking against the brightness of day, the world seemed different somehow. Sharper, more vibrant. The birds sang with renewed vigor. The breeze rustled the leaves with urgency. And the sun, well, it blazed with an almost otherworldly light. He stood there for a moment, feeling as if he had just woken from a dream filled with terror and wonder, with danger and intrigue. Then he turned and walked away from Whisperwood, towards his life, towards the people who loved him, towards the world that needed him. The boy was no longer as carefree as before. The memory of the night, of the creature in the woods, lingered like a half-forgotten nightmare. But in his eyes, a new light shone, the light of understanding, the dawning realization that the world, his world, was a lot bigger, a lot darker, and a lot more magical than he had ever imagined.